Number 2 overall, obviously we were just chatting about it. We think that is like a linchpin potentially for the rest of the draft. Does another quarterback go there, or does that cause chaos for people to trade up to get another quarterback, maybe Jackson Dart, if they think they're going to be in there? From what you're leaning at right now, and obviously 3.0 went out last week, we're waiting on 4.0. You have Abdul Carter going. Him and Myles Garrett being teamed up would be absolutely absurd in Cleveland. How sure are you of that, or are you just trying to sit in Andrew Berry's shoes? And what do you think is going to be the next shake, maybe from the information that you've received in your mock draft?
Yeah, I wouldn't say sure. I mean, the thing that feels sure right now in this thing is that Cam Ward feels very, very likely to go number 1, and then I think all bets are off. I would say this about the Browns. They're going to take a quarterback. I feel confident about this. They're going to take a quarterback with one of their first 2 picks. So is that a situation where they take Shedeur Sanders right there at 2? If they were to take Abdul Carter at 2, I think 100% I would keep an eye on the Browns as a team that could be trading back into 1 to maybe get into the Jackson Dart sweepstakes. So that's where I kind of see everything with them. And then that leaves the Giants. If Shedeur gets to the Giants, and if the Giants decide, that they're not going to take Shedeur, then what Ian was talking about, I think that really comes into play. Is like, okay, now it becomes a little bit trickier trying to find where that landing spot is. So I think Shedeur will know after the first 3 picks what kind of night it's going to be, because if he doesn't go in the first 3, I don't think the Jets will do it. And the Jets, bringing in Justin Fields is still young. I think they want to see what they have there. I thought the Saints, you could make a case there, but the way they're kind of trying to piece everything together and bring everybody back, with the Derek Carr situation, I don't know that I feel great about that being a landing spot. So for Shedeur, all eyes are on the first 3 picks, and if somehow he doesn't go to one of those 3 teams, then it becomes pretty interesting.
Before the boys have some questions, DJ, are you going to be at the draft in Green Bay?
Yes, I will be there. I will be there in Green Bay for that entire week. So we'll pop on with you during the week.
Rapshi, will you be there?
Oh, I will be there. I'm excited.
They haven't told Ian yet. They haven't told Ian yet, Pat. So let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Stop it. I got my reservation. Pat, are you? We're not going to see you there, Pat.
Yeah. Well, the more and more I think about it, maybe we go shake their hands. Maybe we do go shake their hands. I'm trying to mature. I'm in Scotland now. I'm well voyaged. Maybe we try, because it's going to be an electric factory over there. That place is amazing. I can't wait to see, and also who our guest host potentially would be a good thing to be over there. And it's awesome what the NFL has done with the draft. So maybe we go shake their hands and make it happen.
There we go.
Is that breaking news?
It hasn't happened. This is me potentially thinking about it, and obviously the way this will get aggregated in the conversations and the half-truths that will get pushed out there.
Welcome to my world, Pat. Welcome to my world.
Somebody has to say, you guys are acting ridiculous. And I feel like I've done that. Now, with that being said, don't need to be that guy all the time, but it seems like I am. And I'm almost done with it, especially after eating a Cafe Sono this morning with Fahi and his mom. I realized that there's a lot more important things about life than always having to take a stand. So maybe it's maturity. Maybe it's my daughter. Maybe it's the wife. Maybe it's Cafe Sono this morning. Nonetheless, hoping to get out there. That place is a beautiful city. AP Tone has a question for you, DJ.
Yeah, DJ, I'm fascinated by the conversation you guys were just having. So if say Shedeur doesn't go at 3, could he go at 21 to the Steelers? And I know you had Jackson Dart mocked to 21 at the Steelers. Do you have him mocked there because you actually think he's a first-round quarterback, or you think that he could potentially go in the first round? Because a lot of Steelers fans are saying no way to Jackson Dart at 21, strictly because they just have PTSD from Kenny Pickett going at 20.
Yeah, I understand that. I get that from the Steelers fans' standpoint. My thing was pretty simple on that. I have him right on that borderline of being a first-round graded player, and in a draft where there's a lot of parity and the high side is not as good as some of the other drafts we've seen, I think it's easier to justify that. And then more importantly, I think Jackson Dart, based off where they are now, and we'll see what Aaron does, but as of right now, I think Jackson Dart would have a good chance of winning that job. So to me, he's a better option than what you have on the squad right now. So that's why that one made some sense to me. But I'm curious. When Ian said he thought 3 in the top 15, I'd love to get Ian's take on that one, because to me, if Jackson Dart was going in the top 15, is that New Orleans, or are you talking about maybe a team coming in from back half of the first round coming up.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no. So first of all, here's what I learned last year. Okay. I mean, look. So we can go through it right now and see who the quarterback teams are going to be. Right. I would say the Raiders at 6 are a team if they slide back. I don't think it's going to be at 6, but I think if they slide back, they could be a team. The Saints potentially if they slide back as well, and I think they would like picks. I would say Colts probably not. Falcons no. Seahawks, could they actually trade up? I mean, obviously they have Darnold, but it's a great contract for him, but they can get out of it after 1 year. I would say that would be another one. The Steelers potentially as well. And then you have some teams sort of in the back. I mean, how long is Matthew Stafford going to play for the Rams? Could they come up? They could F them picks and they come up as well. So everybody gets overdrafted. At this time last year, I knew for a fact that Bo Nix was going to be a second-round quarterback. I told everybody. We knew it for a fact. And he went 12 and then showed that he probably should have gone earlier. Like, everyone gets overdrafted and no one knows anything. So that's sort of my argument.
Penix as well.
Penix
especially in quarterback position.
I would have said second rounder, and I could have told you all the reasons, and then he gets in there. First of all, he gets picked in the top 10. Second of all, he gets in there and has an absolute cannon and looks great. I mean,
Kirk Cousins. Is Kirk Cousins going to back up down there, Rap?
I think he is until somebody trades for him.
Until he isn't? Is that where you're going to go with it?
Holy shit. Break news.
Aggregate that.
Word.
No,
that was really good.
Here's what I could see is, and look, I mean, DJ, you know how, I'll ask you this in a sec, but there's not a ton of surefire, absolute day one starting quarterbacks in this draft. So if someone doesn't get one who maybe thought they were going to get one, all of a sudden Cousins becomes a very interesting trade possibility down the line. DJ, I want to ask you though, today is Cam Ward's, he's going to throw, it's Miami's pro day. It's a little later today. You talked about him as sort of the overwhelming favorite to be the first overall pick. What do you need to see today from Cam Ward?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm at the network right now. That's why you see that fancy.
You're in the green room.
Oh, wow! Whoa!
Yeah.
Hey, tell some of those mid-level execs that there's a chance I'm going to extend the olive branch. There's a chance.
Okay, I will go upstairs.
Tell them great work. Tell them great work setting all that up and everything. Tell them we appreciate them. Tell them they're great at what they do. Tell them they do what they do.
I'm going to tell them you're going to need some of those rice cakes to make their way to Green Bay and then try and seal this deal and get Pat back in the mix.
Rice cakes?
I'm currently on keto. No rice cakes. Thank you. I'll take some.
Okay.
No,
okay. I got you.
Bar or something?
Yeah.
We'll get you like a beef stick. We'll be good. So to me at the pro day today, we're covering it from the
grab the meat sticks. Sorry, go ahead.
So for the pro day today with Cam Ward, I mean, I really, it's one of those pro days where it's like a proof of life pro day. Just show up, show that you're healthy, hold up a current newspaper. I mean, I don't really need to see anything. Like the arm strength is excellent. He can make every type of throw. You see every type of throw on video. The things that got him in trouble were being a little too over aggressive and trying to force some things. Cross body throws, kind of some recklessness at times. Like that was the knock. Well, the pro day is you're not gonna see anything from that standpoint. There's no defense. So to me, this is set up for him to shine. But I don't know that he necessarily has a lot at stake either, because you can see all the good stuff in his tape.
Yeah, I think your conversation about him being able to throw that ball right there is absolutely absurd. His leadership is there. I'm excited that we have a clear favorite at quarterback. I'm excited to watch him kind of take the "you stinky" into the NFL, especially in a city like Nashville that needs something bad. Go ahead, D-Butt.
Yeah, DJ, we've been talking about kind of I know Ian just mentioned a couple of times moving in the draft, and this is the first year, however many years, that all the teams have come in with their own first-round pick. So this is kind of a two-part question. How much movement do you expect on draft day, and what are the deepest position groups in this draft in your position? Obviously, we don't think it's quarterback this year, but who are those position groups that are deep?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, the first part of the question, like the movement thing's going to be hard because normally the movement positions are quarterbacks and pass rushers. Well, we don't have a ton of quarterbacks, so if we do see movement, I think it would be at the top of the draft. And then from pass rusher wise, leads to the second part of the question. It's the defensive line is the deepest position in the draft. There's a million of these guys, and it's edge rushers as well as D tackles. It's just a stacked, loaded group where we're going to see, the first round is going to be heavily dominated by defensive linemen, and that's going to carry on into the second round as well. So that's kind of where we are with that. I just don't know we're going to see a ton of movement because of that. So, everybody coming in with their picks, it could be kind of a stick and pick draft for the most part. That's at least where we are right now at this point in time in the process, unless, maybe you're a team that, that has an offensive tackle need and you feel like that's a little bit of a shallow pool. Maybe you'd move up a few spots, but I don't know. I'm not anticipating a ton of movement at this point in time.
Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, DJ, at the start of the draft process, Tet McMillan was, like a top 5 pick. And then as we get closer to the draft here, it seems like the receivers just in general, their stock has gone way down, maybe outside of Golden running how he did at the Combine. Is there a chance that we only get, maybe 1 or 2 receivers in the first round? Or do you think when like McMillan goes, whenever that is, I think you have him mocked at like 22, that the dam will kind of break and we'll get a run of kind of all these guys who are potentially fringe first-round receivers?
Yeah, I think we're going to get more than 2. Matthew Golden's going to go in the first round. I think when it's all said and done, Ibuka will end up going in the first round. McMillan's going to go in the first round. Grades are a little bit all over the map on him. I never had him up there, throughout the process as a top 5 guy. He was kind of in that, I think maybe 13 to 15 range for me for most of the process. So that's kind of where I've had him. And you talk to teams in the league, some are lower than that, some are a little bit higher than that. I have not talked to anybody that had him as a top 10 guy, throughout the process. So sometimes that can kind of, get out there on the media side of things, but it doesn't necessarily always carry over to the team side of things. But I think those 3 guys go. And I think we'll get another one in there. It wouldn't be surprised if Luther Burden ended up getting in the first round out of Missouri. Iowa State's got 2 really, really talented receivers that there's some buzz and some heat on them. So we'll see what happens there. But there's enough options and enough candidates that I think, we're going to get 3, 4, somewhere in that range.
Do the teams that need to rebuild through the draft, like we just talked about the Bengals, they're going to have a great draft, obviously, in a lot of different positions. Because, at one point, maybe F these picks. And, Rap, what did you mean by that when you said that earlier? What did you mean by that? You said that, F these picks.
So a lot of times F is sort of used in place of a word that I can't say on TV. I mean, I could say it.
Whoa, you better be specific.
It means...
Yeah, but...
Like,
amen.
That's a good point.
Connor, what F word are you talking about?
Screw these picks would be another way to say it. Okay. Kids might be watching. My kids might be watching. They're not. They're in school, but they could theoretically be watching.
Yeah, I understand. But I just, whenever you say F word, like you make my head say it. So just know that you're saying it, okay? Without saying it.
You're like my Google Translate. Like I say it and you're in your head goes, hold on, he means, I got it.
Exactly. But these teams that need to transform, allegedly there's just a lot of depth in this particular draft. There's going to be people looking for more picks that need that. Is that what you're thinking, DJ, in this entirety?
I think in talking to teams that I've talked to, there's an interesting conversation about in trades trying to get picks in next year's draft. And even, going out into the future.
F these picks.
So
F this draft class is what they're saying.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's some thought to that of just like, hey, let's try and get resources. There's some teams that are already loaded up with comp picks next year because of what they lost in free agency. And now if you trade down a little bit, you could be in a pretty good situation with next year's draft. So if we do see movement, I'll go back to the question that D-Bud asked, because if we do see movement, I don't think you're going to have to pay sticker prices on movement. Ian, I would that's the way I would phrase that. If you are going to see movement, I don't know that the prices are going to be super high to move around.
So it's interesting. First of all, I would agree because it doesn't seem like there's that high end guy who's kind of floating out. I mean, we'll see. But you mentioned the teams looking to get future picks. The Philadelphia Eagles have done as good a job as maybe anyone in a very long time of exploiting teams desperate for picks this year to move up, and they collect future picks like nobody else. So that to them, organizationally, from Jeffrey Lurie all the way down, has been like, this is how we get value. We acquire picks next year because you go, that's second rounder. I'm not going to worry about him next year. Eagles have exploited that. They have collected those and used it to absolutely load up. And so, I think you're right. I think we're going to see the teams that, Eagles, Ravens, teams that are perennially good, collect picks for future to be like, we'll take him because you need this guy and we don't.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper knows what he's doing over there in Philadelphia.
He and I got a good selfie at the Super Bowl.
Dahn.
Somehow they just, after he gave the motivational speech to go win the Super Bowl, it's unbelievable what they've been able to do with that roster transformation, with how much money they've paid everybody, and then they still pay Saquon, top of the class, 3 years in advance. It's like if Philadelphia's able to continue to win, that'll be absolutely bananas. Connor has the last question for you here, DJ. We appreciate you.
Yeah, DJ, obviously the Patriots don't need a quarterback because Drake May is a future Hall of Famer. But in this scenario where Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter go, 1 or 2 and 3 back to back, and then, Shador being that other pick, obviously the Patriots aren't going there. Elliot Wolf actually came out and mentioned, hey, we're in a spot now because of free agency where we don't have to take biggest need. We can take, best available with, Hunter and Abdul gone. Is the next best available like Ashton Ginty? Like, is there a world where that's who New England goes with? Because, you have Will Campbell going 10 and he wouldn't be considered next best available.
Yeah, I would say it. If you don't get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, I would add a little line to the end of best available. I would say best available player that can help your quarterback. So I would be looking on the offensive side of the ball, and Ashton Ginty, I have him as I think the number 3 player in the draft. So if you're just going pure best available player, it'd be Ginty, and if you're obviously looking on the offensive side of the ball, he's he would be the guy there from the offensive side of the ball standpoint. Yeah. So I just feel like that's got to help. Unless you can get Abdul Carter, like somehow Abdul Carter gets there, I get it. But man, like if you draft Travis Hunter, you play him at receiver. He helps Drake May. This first pick after a defensive heavy free agency, it just feels like, man, this has got to be a pick that's going to help Drake May.
You think? I'm sorry to interrupt. You think that Travis Hunter at 4 to the Patriots playing receiver makes sense value wise? That's pretty interesting.
I would. I think he's dynamic. I think he'd be their most dynamic weapon on offense, and I think they would have a lot of fun watching those two guys, quarterback and receiver, kind of grow up together. I would be excited about that if I were a Patriot fan, and somehow Travis Hunter would be there, and I would be interested when they say Travis Hunter. The Patriots select from Colorado Travis Hunter. Yeah! I would be listening though to say, is it wide receiver?
Football player.
Is it corner? Is it combo? Like, how are you going to write that on the card? Because the team does get to decide how that's going to be announced. I would be curious. That to me, that would be wide receiver / corner, not the other way around. If you're the Patriots,
dog. He had the dog on his chest.
He did.
You're right. Could be dog. Could be ATH. Yep. Could be WR/CB. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Pat.
Go ahead.
Pat, real quick. You guys brought Ian into the studio. Do you have to pay for security for him, or how does that work?
Nah, he's so little, he just kind of like squeaks by. That people are looking for him. They just can't, find him. And that's a gift and a curse.
Stay out of the coffee shops.
Bingo. 22A or B, he's able to fly in. He can get comfortable.
Yep.
And at Starbucks, whenever the owner's kid walks in, he's able to kind of weasel on out of there, which is good news.
Like Ashton Ginty. He's like the Ashton Ginty of insiders. Just kind of make you miss, bounce off, get out of there.
Yeah, and Jordo Schultz is Joe Alt.
That's what he looked like in that photo. Hey, DJ, we appreciate the hell out of you, buddy.
All right, see you, boys.
Thanks, dude.
How was the Big 12 Pro Day? Oh,
it was fantastic. We had a great time. Yeah. I thought you besmirched it a little bit at the end of our interview, but it was fun. We had a good time.
I don't love that West Virginia doesn't have their own Pro Day. Okay, I don't.
I know. I gathered that.
I don't love that. Once again, we need to get back to having our own Pro Day, but I like that the Big 12 comes together and does their thing. Just like we appreciate the hell out of NFL Network's finest joining us, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Jeremiah.
Yay!